kid, was always told, don't bring those dark-skinned people in the house. I realized that this system in America was built on anti-black ideologies, hence racism. And because America has such a strong history of anti-blackness, black people, whether they want to or not, have had no choice but to be conscious, be aware of their reality. And even as I was getting older, I began to also notice these things until eventually it led me into going out of my way to also become conscious and aware of this system and the white supremacy that it produces, the anti-blackness that it produces, the anti-Native American that it produces. And as I began to educate myself on the history of the Americas, etc., I can only be in a relationship with somebody that is aware, that is conscious. I can't take anything less than that. And it has been my individual experience that every single time that I'm in a relationship with a black woman, I get this experience. Not only do I find black women physically very attractive, I'm very attracted to black women, but it's also this. I think they call it sapiosexual. And the more I educated myself, that when it comes to our relationship, the only time that I seem to connect very, very well intellectually is with black women. So it's a combination of, I find black women to be very, very physically attractive, but more importantly, I find black women to be the most intellectual, at least to my standard of what I'm looking for, of the criteria that needs to be met for me to find myself compatible with a partner. And I'll end it with this. Not too long ago, I was looking for a therapist. But you want to know something? I didn't want just a therapist. It had to be a black woman therapist, specifically. I know black women are not a monolith, so bear with me. But from my experience, black women, whether they want to or not, they have a great sense of awareness of what's going on systemically, historically, etc. And I mean this with all due respect. Unfortunately, my people collectively, we suffer from colorism, we suffer from internalized racism, and a lot of times it seems like we're not ready to confront it. We're not ready to fix it. We much rather deny that it exists, pretend it doesn't exist, and or brush it under the rug. And I wish this wasn't so. And no, I'm not putting down women of my ethnic background, my heritage, etc. Absolutely not. Never will. I love women of my heritage. I respect them. I do my best to uplift us, but it's very difficult to do it when I feel like as a collective, we seem to not want to combat the anti-indigeneity, the anti-blackness, the Stockholm syndrome, the desire to whiten our race, and this necessity to desire proximity to whiteness. And I don't mean to make black women seem like a monolith, I promise. So that's why it's important when I say my experience. So from my experience, every single time that I dated a black woman, I have never met a black woman that desires proximity to whiteness. I'm not saying there isn't any out there, but I've just never met any. On the contrary, they seem to be resistant, but that's part of the consciousness and the sense of awareness that they carry that I seem to appreciate and find appealing. Compare it